As you said, thank you, Mr. Bannon. The article is very interesting because there's a lot of points, as you mentioned, it's right on the point. But there are some of the things we are actually wanted to caution in the United States and this Trump administration be really careful, because we know, Miles School shared with us, we know what the CCP's usual stalwalling tactics would be, because they used it in the first term. Okay, so they pretending, they wanted to achieve a deal, but they just talks. Okay, and they waited out until the power shift between the parties, right? Because election come in and they seized that opportunity. And meantime, they exhausted Trump's credibility and time. So I wanted to ask you, knowing the lessons in the first round of the trade deal, do you think that Trump would prepare better for the political warfare tactics that the CCP has been using?
I think he has. I think he has prepared much better. I think he's, although I think he was very prepared the first time, I think he's prepared much better. And I think he has his, number one team of Peter Navarro, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent, who today was on, gave a major address yesterday at the New York Economic Club, and then followed it up today with a live interview for about 45 minutes on Squawk Box, talking about many of these same issues. So no, I think he's learned a lot of lessons. He's particularly learned how the Chinese Communist Party is not to be trusted in negotiations. Let's just go back to the first term. Everybody, I'm sure, remembers that we spent 2 years intensely negotiating a deal that would totally integrate the CCP into the Western economy, and eventually get rid of stuff like slave labor, and get rid of state-owned industries. It would get rid of all the issues and problems that the West have with the Chinese Communist Party, and the way they run their economy off the slave labor of Lao Beijing. It hurts every economy. After 2 years of negotiation, in May of 2019, after he held the Belt and Road Initiative, Miles reminded me that was the first big One Belt, One Road conference. It was actually done in conjunction with Putin. That after it was over, they decided, Xi and Wang Xishan decided after 2 years they were not going to honor the treaty, not going to sign the treaty. And they told Liu to call his counterpart, right, in the United States, and tell him, hey, no deal. Immediately after that, Xi declared a people's war against the United States, unrestricted warfare.
Yes.
So we remember the lessons of that very closely. Also, people should remember, Miles, the very first time that Miles told me about the pandemic was when I went up to New York. We were going to have our annual live broadcast for many, many hours and days on Chinese New Year's. And at the night before, at the dinner with Bill Gertz and other dignitaries, Miles informed us that, hey, there wasn't going to be a Chinese New Year's this year because of what turned out to be the pandemic, the Wuhan COVID-19.
Yeah. And
Miles was, weeks and weeks ahead of that. So, and Miles was very, very upfront, given his sources at the time, to say, hey, the Chinese Communist Party has released this bioweapon because they don't see any other way to stop Trump. I think President Trump has taken those lessons on. Now, I will tell you, President Trump does not want a shooting war, and he particularly does not want a shooting war around Taiwan. If push comes to shove, he will do it, but he'd rather get some sort of working relationship with the CCP that avoids that. But all of this will be part of, I think, in the overall architecture of decoupling. I think it's pretty obvious with these tariffs, with non-tariff things that Trump's going to do. It just reinforces what the ambassador to the United States said, which is, we consider this war, we consider it economic war, we're prepared to fight this, and we're prepared to fight any war that the West wants to bring to us. They've been very aggressive in their response, and I'm not sure it has been taken aboard. It doesn't sit very well with senior people in Washington.
Sign up for free and be part of the movement.
It isn't just an app. It isn't just a social media platform. It's a community.
Download Get It right now.